everyone? This is Erica. In today's episode, this is me and my homie Shannon. I think we only get to talk for like 15 or 20 minutes, but I think we're going to continue the episode tomorrow, so just make sure to check in for the newest episode. But today, me and him were talking about being married young versus being married older. Some interesting points are being brought up. So, just listen. Let us know what you think. Any comments, drop below. And again, thank you for listening. So check this out. Mister, I'm not trying to make things difficult. When you exited, it deleted the whole episode and made me start a new one. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I saw that because when I clicked the new link, it told me that the episode was already ended.
Yeah,
I was like, okay. Yeah. She's probably cursing me out really good.
You know what? I just took a deep breath and said, you know what? I'm going to let him make it. So, anyways, today I decided to do something a little different. I decided to let you have a choice. I was going to give you two topics, and you choose which one you want to discuss. Okay? Okay. So, topic number one is, do you feel that it's more of a challenge to get married at a younger age versus older? And by older, I mean like, mid to late 30s. And the second question is, where's the second question? Hold on. I wrote it down. I'm on the wrong page. Hold on. Damn, both of them?
No, the second one was like...
Yeah, the second one is deep. So yeah, true. I didn't want you to pick that one.
Yeah, it's not a 20-minute conversation. Damn. Oh, y'all to fix my life. Shit.
Yeah.
She be taking whole weekends to fix shit like that.
I know, nigga. And they still do wrong. So she just be wasting all that time. But anyways. So yeah. Were there any challenges? Because, I've only been married for 6 years. You've been married for, I forgot how long you said. 12? Was it 12?
Yeah, 12. Maybe 13 this year, I think.
So do you feel like, do you feel like there was a challenge in getting married sooner than later? Because, what's your stance on that?
It's kind of situational. We were already together. So the whole marriage thing was basically just, legally
solidifying it.
Yeah, now we can buy stuff and with both our names on it and that type of thing or whatever. It's gonna cost money to break up, basically, is all that is now. I think when you get married,
wow, that's a beautiful way to put it.
That's what it is. Man, when you really think about marriage, it's a business transaction. That's what it's always been. If you think about it, some guy shows up to the village and I want to marry your daughter, and he brings 15 head of cattle, and the king is like, cool. Which daughter do you want?
I think we got it all messed up. We need to go back to that. We need to go to that. People criticize how they do things with the arranged marriages, but hey, everything's clean cut. You learn to love them. It's no heartache, no complications, no question marks, no what else. You get what I'm saying? Everything is just bam, put it in writing, and that's it. Yeah. Because and it's funny that you mentioned that, because that's literally why I was so anti-marriage, because I felt like it was literally just a piece of paper. It's just situational. It's just putting the government in in your business and all this and that. It's not that I had an issue with being in a relationship. It's just I had an issue with being married, because I felt like, and then I just don't understand how being married complicates things. I've seen couples that have been together for decades, and the minute they get married, it changes, and that I just cannot wrap my head as to why that changes. Now I can understand when you marry, okay, I've been married for 6 years, and the first 5 to 10 years is always going to be, they claim, is the most difficult part. Now that I understand, but when you've been together for fucking 10 years, why are you why does that reset? Why does that start over?
That's what I was gonna say. Like
I don't know.
I've never understood the change. Like
Yeah.
it was so odd to me when I first got married. People were like, "Hey, so do you feel different?" Like, no. I mean, we both our names have been on the lease forever. We stay together. We went to the grocery store
Yeah, I was
together.
shacking.
You know,
Yeah.
it was the same thing. Like we took
But now you don't have to put in extra paperwork to put on your insurance and shit, you know?
it pretty much. That's how a little convenient.
Yeah.
That's how, I don't understand. I think part of it on the other side of that, people think too, like if your relationship is messed up or you got your issues going on, they feel like, well, if we
Mm-hmm.
get married, then magic wand, everything is
Oh,
fixed. It's
God, that's
all
the
good, and it's never like
dumbest
that.
thing ever. Yeah, never like that. Who ever thinks that? Like, I really need to shake some sense into their head and be like, what are you thinking?
Yeah,
But nah, I mean, I do think that part of it is um it's almost like a mental something in their head mentally sets off. Like I've seen it kind of from both sides. You know, I've seen it from the men perspective and I've seen it from the women when you get married. I do see where men, you know, I guess when you marry, you become husband and wife, the woman submits to the husband, they take that as like almost like ownership. Like
right,
it's almost like your property. And
right.
you know, of course, women, not too many women, unless you're a mail order bride, they're not gonna be okay with that. They're gonna be like, now wait a minute, hold on. You do what now? You own me? Nah, bro, you don't own me. And you know, I do feel like that's part of it, maybe. And then on the women aspect, I feel like women, we just kind of say, okay, that was our goal, and they just kind of give up. They're like, okay, I don't have to do those, you know, do all that special shit to keep you. You know, I don't have to worry about, you know, I don't know. I have no idea. I can't relate. It's hard for me to say that
I,
this is why women do it.
it's
I
just
can see
that
it more so the other way.
it's just that um, once you get that title or once you get that piece of paper or that ring and you have the wedding and you're celebrating me, you
Hmm.
get that part of it, and you also get that it gives you a sense of security because
Yeah.
hey, that man has decided that he wants to be with me for the rest of that 30, get a divorce, and it's all
Yeah.
good. It's whatever. And that's what I'm saying, man. If you
Exactly.
go into it with the wrong intention already, like the feeling like this is going to be a easy fix, or this is confirmation that
Hmm.
somebody really cares, and then you get that letdown the first time, there's a huge argument or the bills aren't getting paid or whatever you're going through in your marriage, somebody gets sick or
Hmm.
then all of a sudden it's like, well, this is not what I signed up for. This is not what I thought it was going to be. And
Exactly.
so to circle back to the original question, I think when you get married younger, just like when you get in relationships younger, you don't have the world view, you don't have the experience yet. So your ignorance is bliss.
Hmm.
You're coming in going, everything's going to be great. We're going to get married because we're in love and, it's all good and life is great. So it's easier to
Yeah.
do it then because you don't come into it with all these expectations. You don't say, well, I've been cheated on 3 times or I have a child.
Ooh.
What? You okay?
I, I
Everything
don't
straight?
agree. Nope, I don't agree because like, and shut up. I, I don't agree because I mean, hey, I get where you're coming from,
But
but in a sense, I can kind of see. I don't know. I do feel that when you wait a little bit longer or whatnot, all the figuring out shit, you kind of do it on your own, and that other person is not involved. Does that make sense?
well, you
Because
shouldn't
what
be
I
trying to
do,
figure it out with anybody else. Like figure
yeah,
yourself out
we gotta
first.
no, we gotta figure it out. We gotta make sure they can do things that need to be done. Let's just say that.
I'm not gonna play with you.
No, I
I'm
mean
not gonna play
because
with you
let
today.
me tell you, I guess the reason why I say this, and I'm not basing it on you or anyone that I know, you know, never mind. Anyways, anyone that I know that, that I consider myself to be friends with, let's just put it like that. But mostly people I know, like when I say I know, I went to school with, they got married very young, in high school, after high school, in college. The ones that are still together, they have been through some shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that I'm like, man, that could not be me. It's just like, gosh, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. I look at it as like, fuck, torture. Like, I just can't see myself going through, like I joked about the whole stage, but you're just trying to make sure, you're comfortable and be with that person, forever, forever, ever. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of like, damn, you see this over here, and you're like, well, I might want this. And you may step out or you may not. And then when you do step out, and you realize that the shit ain't worth it, you come running back to your husband and hope and pray he doesn't find out, or if he finds out, you have to make up to it for the rest of your life. Like,
we went off on a tangent there. Let's bring it back.
How?
You kind of,
bro. I'm allowed to do that. God dang it! I can go off on a tangent, but what I'm saying is, when you do it young, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to go through that, and then some people aren't strong enough to go through it, so that's why it results in divorce.
But you can get divorced. Oh, if it's not going to work, it's not going to work.
No, I understand. Yeah, if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. I guess the reason why I look at it like this is because me personally, I went through a lot of things in life that it was me having to go through it, but yet somebody innocent got hurt in the process.
Right.
When I say that, and I'm being serious, dead ass serious right now, when I say that I don't think that I could have went through that process with, someone who I was supposed to spend the rest of my life with, someone who I decided to marry. I don't know if I could live with making that mistake and taking it out on that person because, man, that's a big expectation for me to expect someone to be by my side when my ass was going through some shit and I was, destroying everything around me in the process, and and for me to expect that person to still be there. Right. I mean, because that's literally what marriage is. So that's why I say, I don't know. I applaud anyone that's been married as long as as long as like Zico, he's been married. What do you say, like 17 years? I mean, I applaud anyone that's done that. However, me going through what I've gone through, what I'm going through, I just feel like it would be so difficult and so selfish of me to expect someone to go through all that shit with me. It's not even their fault, just to be an innocent bystander, and expect you to still be there at the end of the day. And I mean, I know that's what marriage is about.
Yeah, that's what you signed up for.
I mean, well, shit. If it was on the other foot, let's just say I wouldn't be signing up for it. So maybe that's something I need to work on. Because
I mean, can you really say that though? Can you really say?
Yes, I can. I said that, and I didn't stutter not one fucking time. I said it, man. Because I'm telling you, there's times, and I'm talking about myself. I promised myself that I wasn't going to make these episodes about me. However, I will say this. There are times that I even have to look at myself from the outside and be like, bitch, you are tripping. Like, calm down. Because, I mean, I don't know. There's things that people go through and they gotta, they have different ways to go through it. You got so many people, some people, they just keep it to themselves or they think about it or whatever. Some people that be like nonchalant with the bullshit, they just ignore it. And then eventually it's going to spear its ugly head and it's going to be chaos. And then you have the ones that are tipped off every 2 minutes. And sometimes that's me. I get triggered every 2 minutes. I'm like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? So, I mean, for me to say that I'm willing to do that for you, and not you, I mean, like me, my husband, spouse, or whatever, like, that's why I think I made a decision not to marry or to marry like later in life because, my 20s to mid 30s were a blur. I mean, I was in, like, I would never marry someone because during that, I'm glad that I didn't marry anyone between that time frame because that person would have seriously got hurt. I mean, there were people who I didn't even marry, who I really cared about, and I hurt them in the process. You get what I'm saying? So I guess that's why I'm just kind of like, I'm glad that I figured all that shit out. Well, I didn't figure it all out, of course. Shout out to CJ.
But you
But
got
most of the stuff I
but
did,
you got to a
like
point
when I
where
got
you
my
were
sister
ready
like
to
that.
get married. And I think that's
There
part
you
of it
go.
too.
Yeah.
Like you have to you
Hmm.
you have to be ready to get married. And it can't be I'm getting married because I don't I'm tired of hearing this person threaten me or oh I'm just trying to, give give my spouse or give my significant other what they want. I'm just gonna get married or whatever. If you're not ready, then it's not gonna work. And being ready at
Hmm.
18 versus 38 or 48 or whatever, it is what it is. But you have to be ready to say, all right, this is what I signed up for, and I'm gonna be here. And because I mean, to be honest, everybody's fucked up somehow.
No.
There's
Yeah.
varying levels of fucked up, but
There's varying levels. Yeah. Let's just say that.
no, I
Because,
didn't. No, I certainly wasn't gonna
yeah.
sit. It was on the same level because I did just watch Malcolm
Yeah.
and Marie, and I was like, bruh,
Oh my
say,
God. We ain't going to even talk about that right now. We'll talk about it
because
tomorrow
that was a
if
lot,
I can get.
shit. But
It really was. But, yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. But, anyways,
yeah, man, you just kind
yeah, I
of
mean,
it. That's what you signed up
yeah.
for, and I think people feel like I want to be in a good place in life, and I want to make sure I got all my stuff together, whatever. If somebody's willing to go through that with you and go through your ups and downs, and even though you're a mean person like me, I'm a jerk sometimes. I like to stay.
Oh, wait a minute. Did you just say sometimes? Hold on. You said sometimes.
We're not finna do
You
this.
mean all the
We're not
time?
finna do
All
this.
the time. All
I'm
the
not
time.
a jerk all the time.
All the time. Yes, you are.
Okay.
Happy birthday. All right. Thank you. Fuck you, jackass. Bye. You're like, God damn. Okay. That's not the way to treat your stepmom, but okay.
Erica, I am a
Um,
mirror. I give what I get. So whatever you give me, I give it right back to you. That's all I have to say about that.
oh, that's not true. That's not true at all. But anyways, also give you too. But yeah, I mean, there are different types of crazy. And you know what? I can't stand this culture that's going on right now where everyone feels like they fucked up. Everyone feels like they're bipolar. Everyone feels like they're depressed. Everybody feels like this anxiety. Everybody's triggered. Everything's offensive. Like, I literally, to really have, mental health problems in this age sucks because it's like being the popular person in high school and you're like,
Yeah.
why? I mean, why are you being applauded for something that, I mean, having issues with mental health is very debilitating. It is because it's like a war within yourself. Nobody else can really help you with it. Yeah, you can take all these pills and they might help you function. But at the end of the day, it's something that you really have to deal with. And the fact that everyone makes like it's so cool right now, I hate that shit, man. And because I be talking to my kids' friends, and they act like their life is just so damn hard, and I just be looking at them like, oh my god, you're talking to me on an iPhone 11, and you're telling me,
I think it's just the recognition of stuff now. As generations come and you learn a little bit more, whatever, you start recognizing. We talk about it's kind of off subject, but it's related.
mm-hmm,
So when you think about back in like the 70s and like the 60s and all this different stuff, and kids would play outside and just go wherever, and it was all safe. And then you get a little bit older to like I'm an 80s kid, and it was like, oh, it's
mm-hmm,
so dangerous now, and you can't let your kids play outside, and there's so many predators or whatever. Those same predators were out there then. It's just that you weren't
yeah,
aware enough to know that, the weird guy down the street was actually, trying to snatch your daughter or your son or something like that. You learn a little bit more, so you're
mm-hmm,
more aware of it. And I think that's kind of where we at with the mental health thing now. But you are right.
yeah,
Damn, somebody trying to call me on my lunch for real. It's messed up. It's kind of involved. Like, everybody wants to have
yeah.
anxiety and everybody wants to be triggered by shit. And I just have to cut this off
Wow.
because I'm getting caught.